Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. We're out here to serve you, and I've had some questions about strawberry plants. Everybody knows I love strawberries. And it's better here on the farm here. I started out with 28 plants, and it's turned into 3 different areas for strawberries to grow in. And so needless to say, I have a huge harvest of strawberries every single year. But you have to really be careful about diseases with strawberries. I'm using 3 different ways actually to grow the strawberries. So Phil has redone one of the bathrooms here on the farm, and so there was an old tub, and this thing is like huge and very, very heavy. So he takes it out, or we take it out to the back side of the farm, and so I decided to go ahead and fill it up with dirt and put compost and all that in it. And I put some of the strawberry plants in there, and they're already looking good. And did this just a few weeks ago. They're already producing strawberries. Then we have another little area that has, it's kind of like this white-like plastic laying down just to kind of help with weeds, preventing weeds. And then I also put some concrete blocks around that in a square, and I put some strawberries inside that. Then I also have around our gazebo, there are some blocks around that as well, and I put some strawberry plants in that. So needless to say, we're going to be full of strawberries, but every once in a while you're going to come up with some kind of diseases. And so I found this website. I really love this site. If you are a gardener, or if you would like to be one, you just want to do a little bit of research and find out what it's all about, go to this site. It's allaboutgardening.com. allaboutgardening.com. So I have a few pictures, and I wanted to show those to you as well. And this one right here is with strawberries, how to identify and how to treat those strawberries. They're really easy to grow, and they are vigorous and resilient perennial plants. They're going to come up every single year. I've had these, I call them the great-grandmother plants. I've had them for about 4 years, and they just keep producing. But now they're not immune to problems. As a matter of fact, plant diseases can take hold of a strawberry patch and wipe it out of your yields very quickly. So what I wanted to do is just tell you about some of these diseases. Like you see one right here. You can see that browning around it. So we're going to talk about how to treat these strawberry diseases, what you can do about them, and what some of the common problems are there as well. But anyway, you can see a little bit of that disease on there. First, let's talk about stressors, okay, that can actually begin the diseases in your strawberries. It can be weather stress. You know, we're here in Alabama, and in other parts of the country are not quite like we are. We can actually have 4 seasons in one day. We've been known to do that. So it's been unseasonably cold and chilly, and we've had a lot of rain. As a matter of fact, I told Phil the other day, I said, you know, April and May, the beginning of May, feels almost like March. You know how it's kind of chilly and cold and rainy and that kind of thing. And so it's just been a really weird season. But weather stress, excess hot or unexpected cold, can severely weaken strawberry plants, especially when the weather changes very quickly, like in a real cold snap, just kind of like that. Drought stress can cause issues as well. Strawberries are very thirsty plants, and they suffer when they don't have enough water. So as a result, certain plants like powdery mildew are real quick to take hold. And I'm going to show you several pages right here. And this is the first one I told you about. So that black right around the top of that strawberry. Now the other 2 strawberries look fine, but I'm also seeing a little bit of wilting on the stems up there as well. They're turning kind of brown. And then this one right here is the powdery dew that I was just telling you about. And this can be from too much rain or not enough rain, and that's why I really do love to use those concrete blocks buildings. And I also like to have anything that's kind of sheltered in, because the dirt we have here is real sandy like, so when it rains it looks like almost quicksand. I have to wear rubber boots when it rains here, even a little small shower, because your feet really sink down into the ground. And then also if you have too much rain or not enough rain, that's why I loved raised gardens, and that's why I love the concrete blocks. But then back onto the strawberry, the stress. We talked about, they get thirsty. They're not like a watermelon or a cucumber or anything like that, but they do require a lot of water. Not too much though. Okay, so fertility stress. When there's not enough soil nutrition to fuel vigorous plant growth, then strawberries get stressed out and they will suffer. A full array of micro and macro nutrients are necessary to grow a healthy plant that can withstand the threats of disease. Frost damage can hurt, so can pest pressure, and I'm having ant beds all over the place. So I'm going to have to try what Brian Brown was telling us about ants, and this is something I didn't know. When you have ant beds all over your yard, and sometimes you'll throw like pepper, they don't like black pepper. Well, I think I'm rid of them. Or you pour gasoline on them. Well, guess what? They're just going to pop up in another part of your yard. Well, what's happening is that the crust in your grass, your yard, let's just pretend that it's this high. We know it's much higher than that. Okay, so I have the ants that are right here on the ant bed, and I throw poison or something on them, and I think, oh man, I am rid of those ants. Well, they're gone, but you haven't taken care of the queen. There's a queen in the ant beds. So that queen just moves to another part of the yard. There she is. Well, there's another ant bed. It's the same ant bed. It just keeps moving around all over the yard. So what you got to do is get rid of the queen. So there is a remedy for that. And I'm going to try this. And then what I'm going to do is let you know how it works out. Okay? But this is what Brian said. You get a potato chip and you put this on it. They love potato chips for some reason. Throw them out in the yard. They take off pieces of that potato chip. They go take it down there to the queen. And then when the queen's dead, you're going to lose all of it. So I'm going to let you know how that works out. But I'm seeing ant beds that are just like taking over, trying to get into some of my strawberry plants. Excessive feeding on the foliage of leaves can produce plant resistance to disease. Holes in the foliage also acts as entry points for harmful microorganisms. Frost damage, we've heard about that. I was afraid that I had lost my strawberries this year because we had that frost that came just kind of out of nowhere, but Phil covered them, so that took care of that. By the way, when you cover your plants, if there's going to be a frost, we're not into summer yet. We might have a frost, who knows, here in Alabama. And so you don't want to put plastic over it because that can just kind of smother them. They need to have air. So something like a sheet, something that's porous where air can go. And which brings on this one right here, lack of airflow, like stagnant air can be a major cause of diseases like blights and molds. Just like humans, plants need to breathe and have ample fresh air flowing through. Overcrowding. If you're stuck, crammed in a subway like sardines, chances are you'll get sick after a while. So overcrowded strawberries are especially prone to disease. Another thing is poor soil. Perhaps the greatest stressor for any plant is growing in poor soils. This is especially the case for strawberries. They like well-drained, loamy soil. Now, it's loamy, but I have a lot of rocks and stuff in it. And it's got to be rich in organic matter. We have chickens, and that's what they're for, if you get my drift. Now, if they've been grown in compacted, heavy clay soil that gets waterlogged after a rain, they'll be much more stressed and susceptible to disease. So now that we understand the core underlying causes of plants, let's go ahead and dig into the most common diseases that attack strawberries and what you need to do with them. And I'll tell you what we'll need to do. Okay, here we go. It's coming up right now. Major strawberry diseases. Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, now this one is called gray mold. And I'll go ahead and put this picture back up for you again. Right here. Okay, right, see that gray mold right there? Okay, it's the bane of a fruit grower's existence. I'm going to tell you what, we hate this. The most commonly known as major problem is in wine grapes, but this gray mold has over 200 plant hosts, including our wonderful strawberries. Now, this terrible mold can cause up to 80% loss of strawberry yields. And we don't want that to happen. So it thrives in cool conditions between 58 and 72. That's why I'm having to be really, really careful with these things out here. And high humidity. Now, the fungus attacks the coveted ripe fruits just before or after harvest, causing gorgeous, juicy strawberries to become covered in those unsightly gray molds. Now let me tell you what I like to do. If I do get the gray mold, what I like to do is just wherever that part of that plant is, I'll go ahead and prune that off. I'll go ahead and get some scissors or something. So you don't need like snips or anything like that because they're kind of delicate leaves and stems. So what I'll do is just gently remove those with my scissors and throw that whole part of the plant away. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not, but I will tell you it is working out for me so it doesn't spread when I do that. Now the first year I had the strawberries, I had that happen and I let it go. All I did was pull the strawberry off and I threw it in the trash cans. I didn't want it to get on any other part of the yard. Problem is I didn't take the foliage off. Before I knew it, it started spreading. Then I got the shovel out. I had to go ahead and get the shovel and dig up those plants that actually had this happen to them. Okay, I'm going to show you another picture right here. Now look at that. That's called powdery mildew around this leaf. It's kind of like in the middle right here of the picture. And so warmth and humidity are powdery mildew's favorite combo. So this disease is similar in many ways, but it favors heat, whereas other diseases would like the cool. So a damp of spring and fall. Luckily, the powdery mildew has more control options in resistant varieties, so it's quite easy to spot. And I'll have to tell you what I love about the variety that we have here on the farm. It's called the Ever-Ready strawberries. And I love the Ever-Ready strawberries. They actually go out all year long. I am getting strawberries off the strawberry plants. Well, almost all year long. All summer long. They really produce at a high rate, and they're those great old big juicy ones too. Now I like to get mine when they're ripe, but I want to hurry up and get them before my chickens try to get out there and get them. So I'm going to have to think of an option for the chickens because they love strawberries too. Okay, I see it's time for us to go into a commercial break. Let's go into a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Got some more ideas on some of this stuff, okay? We'll be right back. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Okay, we are. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182, Charter Communications Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And you can also find us podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. We're talking about strawberries. I love strawberries. I can eat them every single day, 3 times a day. They're so good, and they're easy to put up. You can make preserves out of them. I love strawberry jam. I mean, it's really good. And then I also like just to freeze strawberries and get a few out and just eat them with my breakfast every day. So the way you can do that, get your strawberries, you need to wash them really good, take the stems off, cut those off. You want to lay them, make sure they're drained really good, all the water is off, use paper towels or towels, whatever you have. And once they're dried off, put them in the freezer immediately. Let them sit in there for about an hour. single layer, okay? A single layer. Don't let them touch each other, okay? We don't want them to connect. Once they've been in there for about an hour or so, if they still feel a little soft, leave them in there about another hour. It's not going to hurt them. They're not going to get freezer burn. Then use a good freezer bag and take those strawberries and put them in the freezer, and you got something to eat all summer, all winter long, and it's going to feel like springtime again. Okay, so here we go. Now, we were talking about all the diseases that are possible right here with strawberries, and so this one we talked about a little bit earlier, and this one is it's not telling me what this one is. Okay, that's the brown part right there. That's kind of a blight for a strawberry, and so sometimes that can be from not enough water. But I'm going to show you this one right here. And we talked about this one earlier, and this is called gray mold. Okay, now I didn't tell you the way you can identify it. Of course, you see the gray mold all over it. That's some people actually call them mummy berries because they're moldy white and have this gray like cotton on them. Now, how you can prevent this is remove and destroy any infected or dead plant material. Just throw it away. Oh, by the way, don't put that in your compost pile. Okay, I always throw them in the trash. Make sure you rake up any debris that looks like that. Remove any of that fruit. And then what you want to do from this point on, grow, make sure that they've got adequate airflow between the plants. So that could be you just have too many plants in there, too many strawberry plants, and it's just causing a problem for growth in that area. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the powdery mildew. We talked about that just a few minutes ago. So the powdery mildew, right here, see that mildew looking? It's kind of spotty looking stuff. That comes from warmth and humidity. Okay, so the way you can prevent this is remove all of the old crop debris and any dead leaves. Don't just leave everything like it is. If you're going to go to a nursery and buy your strawberry plants. That's what I recommend you do from a reputable source. And also you can apply a compost tea with this. And all you do is just any kind of tea, it doesn't matter what it is, and you want to apply that to the roots of your plant, and also apply sulfur or neem sprays as a preventative. Also make sure you don't put too much nitrogen fertilizer in there. And again, just make sure you prevent overcrowding and make sure there's plenty of airflow in there as well. Okay, so that's the gist on that. Okay, so we're going to talk just a little bit more about some more of the common diseases. We have enough time to do that. We're talking about the and how to identify actually the powdery mildew. So let's talk just for a minute about leaf spot. And leaf spot, you'll be able to figure out what that is. So see all that spotted stuff? I've had that on mine before. So this occurs on all strawberries. It's all over the world. It's not just here. But it's a fungal disease, and it's caused by, it has little spores on it that blow into the garden or spread from overwintered dead foliage. So any leaves or anything like that that you've got growing that are just around the yard, around your strawberries, you need to make sure you get used to that. Fortunately, leaf spot is mainly a cosmetic problem, and it doesn't really affect the yields of your fruit. But I'm going to tell you how you can identify that. And you can see that from those little, it looks almost like little circles, little dots, little white dots inside a black dot. So that's what that is. Now the way you can prevent this is to make sure you just clean around your yard. If you'll do that and get rid of any of the leaves, old leaves, that kind of thing, you'll, oh, and also just old plant material, that's one thing you want to definitely get rid of as well. And just clean up around the yard. That's basically all you've got to do about that. And again, that's not going to hurt your garden. in any way. It's not going to hurt the strawberries at all. Okay, so we're back. Excuse me, the asthma kind of wants to take in sometimes, and it's really rough this time of the year. There's something else. It's called, let me tell you how to treat that. Leaf spot is incurable again, but once it's on the plant, your only goal is to spread that growth. So what I've done before, I just dug out the plants that actually have that on there. And by the way, if you have to get rid of some of the plants, they multiply like crazy. They're almost like rabbits. So you'll have more strawberries, believe me, coming back. So since it's mainly just an aesthetic issue, researchers say that fungicide isn't usually warranted. Usually you don't have to do that. And the leaf spot isn't a huge issue unless you're noticing spots joining together and killing off significant numbers of leaves. At this point, you may want to remove the plants again and just renovate the beds. Okay, now leaf blotch. I want to show you what this one right here looks like. See that? The blotchiness on there, and see what it's doing to the strawberries. Some of them are falling down. There are little holes in them, and then you'll see, if you're looking up towards the left, you'll see one hanging down, and it's rotten. I mean, it's a small strawberry. It's not even growing. So if you get a lot of winter or spring rains, chances you're going to notice some leaf blotch. It's kind of a tan to gray or black lesions on emerging strawberry foliage, and it's called by fungus, and it spreads with splashing waters from infected areas. And I'll have to tell you what, that is the reason that I like to put I've just noticed that I don't have quite so much of this irritation on my strawberries because I do keep them inside. It's not just planted right on the ground. If you do have some planted on the ground, I'll have to tell you something that will help. Put down white plastic, not the black, but the white. And the reason you want to put down white plastic is in the hot summertime, it's not going to scorch those plants, and they're still going to look good. It's not going to bear as much heat onto your plants. So how to prevent it is always remove old plant residues. You're kind of hearing the same story over and over again, where you remove old plant residue, and where the fungus could rest over the winter time. So this is something you want to look at in the fall, after the strawberries have done their thing. You've harvested everything you possibly can. Just go take a good look at those plants, and if you see any kind of disease whatsoever, go on ahead and remove that plant. Then when the springtime comes and they start emerging and they start looking really pretty again, you're not going to have that big of a worry about it. It's going to happen occasionally, but if you get rid of the old stuff before the spring, you'll find it's much better. Now, plant in plastic mulch or landscape if you live in rainy climates, which is what I just told you I do. And I do. But use the white, okay? Keep your plants thinned out really good. And then what you want to do is avoid overhead irrigation. I don't have a sprinkler system on my strawberries at all. We get enough rain, and I'll tell you what I like about strawberries. Even if we have a drought, I like just hosing them down, okay? And that way they're going to get the nutrients and the water they need. But make sure you plant in low tunnels to protect it from rain. And again, I highly suggest concrete blocks. You can buy them at Lowe's, okay? And they have them less than $2 a piece. But get the bigger ones. Get the ones that are about 16 inches. Okay, now there's a wilt also. I don't have a picture of that. But the leaves look, they're kind of green in the middle, and then they have this kind of a browning right here on the outside of it. So that is a wilt. So it's another unfortunate disease, and it usually starts from starter plants. And you'll see that as well. Oh my goodness, it's time to go. My name is Donna Feazell, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you doing that. Find the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. That's netnewsnetwork.net. See you next time, and happy strawberry plants, okay?